Self-Esteem Parenting 7. How to talk your child and yourself out of a bad mood. Have you ever had a tantruming child, a negative child, a chutzpahdik child? Well, we say to them, stop doing that. Stop being so negative. Stop being so angry. Stop being so mean. We push them. We encourage them. We ask them to please stop acting in that fashion. Particularly when we come to the checkout aisle at the grocery store and the child wants a chocolate bar. And then we get a little bit more plaintive and we say, please don't have a tantrum. Don't embarrass me in front of all these people. Please don't have a tantrum now about a chocolate bar. Here, take 2 chocolate bars, 3 chocolate bars, and that one too. We are so worried about our children's emotional state and embarrassing us and not knowing how to handle it, that we get overwhelmed and we give in or become too onerous. We become too directive, too authoritative. So it's either we become too strong with them and too critical of them, or we become just give in, I just need some peace and quiet. Where's the middle ground? How do you achieve the middle ground? The middle ground is to have the child identify their emotions and to empathize with those emotions. That's called emotional support, as we have been discussing. How do you do that? So we have to have a chart like this. You go online to ctherapy.com, and ctherapy.com has this poster board. And in this poster board, it has, how are you feeling today? There's boy faces and girl faces. And you call the child over to this chart, whether it's in the kitchen or a magnet in the kitchen or your dining room, and you say, are you exhausted? Are you confused? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you sad? Which face do you identify with? Are you happy? Are you embarrassed? Are you cautious? Are you ashamed? Are you enraged? Are you overwhelmed? Are you lonely? Are you anxious? Which one are you? Have the child identify with the faces. And there are boy faces and girl faces. Go on to ctherapy.com. The letter C, therapy.com. And for $10 you can order this laminated poster, a boy face or girl face, or magnet format. Call the child over when they're tantruming. Hopefully not in the store. But if even in the store, you can call them over with a little magnet in your purse or your wallet or your pocket and say, which one are you feeling right now? I see you're angry. Help the child identify what they're feeling. This is called emotional awareness or emotional intelligence. We have to foster within our children emotional intelligence. Telling them stop that. Don't be chutzpahdik. Don't be angry. Don't be negative is not going to work. We have to identify and learn the technique of self-esteem parenting, of identifying with the emotional state of our child. How do we do that? By identifying the emotion on this chart, having the child identify the emotion. Then level 2, say, well, I understand you're frustrated. You don't want to leave the store without those chocolate bars or those candies. I know if I were you, I'd want that too. You would? Yes, I would. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now. Oh, well, I want it. Keep going until the child understands that you understand their feelings, and then the child will do this. That's called emotional closure. You can't move to problem solving or to lecturing or giving a lesson or an idea or instruction until the child stops cooking emotionally, or the wife stops cooking emotionally, or the husband stops emotionally turmoiling. And therefore, we have to be able to learn this art of emotional support as a way to be able to bond with, connect with, support, validate the feelings of our child. That's the middle ground. Identify the feeling, understand it. I understand why you're upset right now. I understand why you're angry with me right now. Even if it's about you, even if the child's angry about you, don't take it personally. You have to have good self-esteem for that. Self-esteem parenting. Put your own mask on first. If a child says, I hate you, I'm angry with you, they don't mean it, but they're just angry with you in the moment. You could say, I'd be angry with me too. I'd hate me too if I said no to a chocolate bar in the grocery store. I'd hate me too. That disarms the child. Really? Yeah, well, I would hate me too. Yeah. So it's okay the child hates you. Take it, handle it. Gain some self-esteem and say, the child doesn't mean it. The child is just expressing frustration. Identify. with the emotion. Identify the emotion, then understand the emotion, and then let the child calm down, or the wife calm down, or the husband calm down. Only then can you do problem solving. This idea of fluctuating from our emotional self to our problem solving self, our amygdala, emotional self. The amygdala is here in the middle of the brain, and it's connected down the plumb line into the heart. And the heart is connected to the amygdala. The emotions are connected to the amygdala. The amygdala part of the brain is the emotional responsive part of the brain. That's where we live. We live in the emotional self. That's called the ruach. We have a seichel, a ruach, and a body self. We have a neshama, a ruach, and a guf, a nefesh. 3 parts. We live here. Reb Chaim Vital says we live here. We live in the emotional self, the ruach. And when we're peaked emotionally and we're triggered emotionally, we go down into gravity, into our nefesh, and we react. Oh yeah? And we fight or we tantrum. So the idea is we have to learn the technique of getting a child to talk them out of a bad mood by emotional support. And then they can go from here up into the problem solving, the prefrontal cortex, the problem solving part of the brain, the rational part of the brain, the developed part of the brain, which takes many years to develop. This part of the brain only develops when a person is 20 to 25 years old. And it fully develops and fully gains its sense of consciousness here at 20 to 25. That's why a person is not chayiv in dina nefashos until 20, because this is not operating and fully until a person is 20. And this is true physiologically and biologically and neurobiologically. And therefore the Torah reflects that reality. Or the reality is reflected in the Torah itself. The Torah is the blueprint. The Torah knows this because Hashem wrote the Torah. So therefore, where in the Torah is this? And in my book, Bring Out the Best, a Jewish guide to building family esteem, on page 65, the Alter in Parshas Vayetze says that the idea for this fluctuating from our amygdala, our emotional self, and our mind self comes from the following famous words of the Torah. In Breshis chapter 28, verse 12, pasuk 12, it says, Sulam mutzav arza v'rosho magia hashamayma. The ladder of Yaakov, when he had his dream, was planted earthward. The ladder was set earthward. Mutzav arza, v'rosho, its head, magia hashamayma. The Alter teaches us that Yaakov's ladder has a message for you and me. From the moment, says the Alter, quote, from the moment of your creation, your very essence, your head, your mind, can reach the heavens. End quote. Means, Rosho Magia Shemaima means my mind can reach the heavens. My mind can connect itself with God and arise above my Ruach, above my Arza. The Sulam Mutzav Arza, the feet of the ladder are planted in the ground into my earthiness, into my emotional self, my ruach and my body, and it's planted in the ground, and I could get stuck in the ground. Or I can elevate myself, Rosho Magia Shemaima. The ladder is me. I am the ladder. I am the ladder that I can elevate myself from the Mutzav Arza to the Rosho Magia Hashamayma. And therefore, my concept is the following. My chiddush is the following. Events can be swirling around you. But if you put your mind in the zone of positivity by rising above the emotions, and we do that for our children by giving them emotional support, or for our wife, or even for ourselves. Give yourself emotional support. And we'll learn how to do that in a later podcast. So don't allow the emotions to run you. They don't define you. This defines you. Your seichel defines you, not my emotional self. I have emotions. I use them. They're necessary. God gave me those emotions, but they don't run me. And that's what we say, Ve'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavecha, with your heart, u'v'chol nafshecha, with your mind, with your seichel, u'v'chol modecha, and then your body can act accordingly. Levavecha means your emotions. Nafshecha means your mind. Meodecha, your actions, your deeds, your attributes. That's run by your body. When this is in charge, it can control and guide and mentor the feelings. Otherwise, the feelings squash the mind. And therefore, rather, when we respond to these events of our lives with this part of ourselves, the Rosho Magia Shemaima, we can direct our emotional selves. And this is the deeper meaning of the symbolism of Yaakov's ladder. As Yaakov lay sleeping, the angels were climbing up and down the ladder. As the pasuk says, the angels were olim v'yordim bo. They were going up and down bo, the ladder. Says the Alter of Slobodka, listen to this beautiful idea, this earth-shattering, this game-changing idea of the Alter of Slobodka. He says that the word bo means in him. Olim v'yordim bo means in Yaakov. Bo bi Yaakov. The angels were going up and down Yaakov. Yaakov is the ladder, and the angels were going up and down him. They were going from the Mutzav Arza, from the Mutzav Arza part, the earthly part, the emotional part, the body part of Yaakov, and they were going up toward Rosho Magia Shemaima, to the heavens, to the mind, the Seichel, to the godly Seichel of Yaakov. The angels were going up and down Bo, up and down him, not the ladder, but himself. In each of us, says the Alter of Slobodka, there is a ladder. The ladder is planted in the ground in this world. It's planted in the environment that we're living in our jurisdiction, in our Daled Amos, in our circumstances, in our children, in our family, in our Daled Amos, in the turmoil of everyday life, in the Mutzav Arza, in the earthiness and the earthliness of this world. The ladder challenges us to find the inner strength to find within ourselves, to rise above the ladder of ourselves, to go up a rung in the ladder, to go up Rosho Magia Hashemaima, to go to the heavenly and positive thoughts within ourselves. So when we encounter difficulties, when we have a child who is encountering a junior moment, or when we're experiencing a senior moment, or a turmoil moment, or a grocery checkout aisle moment, and we're having turmoil, and we sulk or complain or become depressed because our Mutzav Arza, we can learn the art of emotional support, give the opportunity for that person to emote, to feel, to understand, to be understood, to be connected with, to be joined with, to understand their pain, and then their pain will calm down, and then they're able to rise up, and the malachim within themselves, the messengers of thought within themselves, can rise above Rosho Magia Hashemaima. Your thoughts can go to the mind of Seichel, of positivity, of godliness. And godliness means goodliness, the positivity of the Yetzer HaTov.